Hey, welcome back to the Engineered Channel. Today I'm with my good buddy Chris, and we're here looking at some used Japanese touring bikes. So if you're in the market for a used touring bike, what are you going to look for? You're going to look. We got a GoldWing, a Honda GoldWing, the classic, and then the Yamaha Venture. This is Yamaha's answer to the GoldWing. We're going to ride both of these. We're going to look at both of these, compare features, what we like, what we don't like, and maybe what you can buy one of these for, and maybe help you make up your mind on what you'd like to buy. So this is my touring bike. This is my 2005 Honda GoldWing 30th anniversary edition, and I've had it for about maybe 2 months, and I'm totally in love with it. I bought it used, of course. It had about 100,000 miles on it. So you think that's a lot of miles, but for a GoldWing, you know, they still got a ton of life left in them at 100,000 miles. And I'm kind of in love with this bike.
I'm picking up on that. Well, this one is the 2012 Yamaha Royal Star Venture. Very much their answer to the GoldWing, and as we walk through these today, you'll see that the features, the rides, so many of the things, the similarities are really, really strong. I also love this bike. I got into it at a very reasonable number, had less than 600 miles when I picked it up. I've got it to about 8,000 now. It's like a brand new bike, and it's a 2012. So it's feature rich, it's very fuel efficient. It's the reliability for me is a huge, huge piece. Comparing one of the American brands to buying Japanese, this thing I have no qualms about putting 3,000 miles on it and coming back home safe and sound.
Yeah, reliability is huge on these. I've had several Harleys, and you chase oil leaks.
Yes, you do.
Something's wrong with it all the time.
Yes,
I mean, the newer ones are great, and I've got a newer Harley, so that I'm working on now, because it's just so cool. I mean, you know. But as far as reliability, getting on it and going, you can't
hit
beat
the
this.
start button and it works, and you head off down the road. Man, that's hard to beat.
Okay, so this is a 2012 model.
It is.
I want to go buy one of these. What can I expect to pay on the used market for one of these?
On the used market, and again with the crazy low mileage that I found this one on, I only paid $6,500 for it.
$6,500.
Condition.
That is a ton of motorcycle, and it's new or newer. For that much money, that's really a steal. I might have you on this. Now this is older.
All right.
But I picked this one up for $4,000, and so now I think I got a really good deal on that. But you know, these are somewhere between $9,000 and $10,000. You can pick these up. But you know, if you really watch the used list, right?
Absolutely.
And those that sit there and sit there and sit there, get in there and give them a crazy lowball offer, and sometimes they call you up and go, okay, I need it gone.
Well, and this series I think went all the way back to maybe 2006 is when they introduced it. So if you want to go back a few years, older than the 12 that I've got here, I think you can probably get in that same price range with comparable miles.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, $6,500 is an amazing price. It's a gorgeous bike. I love this bike. I can't wait to ride it. Of course, the GoldWing has a flat six 1800 cc engine, which is really known for being just buttery smooth. I mean, there's no rumble in this.
And I have another bike that's super loud, like you have to wear earplugs kind of loud. So for the long highway trips, I appreciated the quietness, but when you're around town, you want a little bit of signature. So I punched out the back end of these pipes and got a little bit of sound to it. It's still kind of nice.
Yeah.
In the middle, you can make some noise if you want to, but mainly a quiet bike.
Well, if you've been riding for a while, you know the people on the road in the cars are trying to kill us all the time.
Absolutely.
And so I like a loud pipe that I can rack it a little bit and get people out of the way. And
for sure.
I've used that on the loop when people have pushed me into the middle wall.
Yep.
Just give them a little rev and they're like, what? Whip right back into their lane.
Yep.
Now, you don't get this on the GoldWing. The GoldWing is just whisper quiet.
Take your time and get out there and just enjoy the silence.
But anyway, I think the Telltale is going to be riding them. So let's go for a ride and let's see what these guys look like on the road. All right, so we made our trip. We made our rounds. We've each ridden both bikes.
We have.
Before we make our contrast and compare here, let's take a quick look around these bikes.
The Star line that Yamaha introduced, this little logo, they were intending to make the Star line its own line of cars, much like you see a lot of Japanese automakers will introduce a high-end brand, and suddenly that brand branches off, becomes its own thing. That was the intention with Star, and this is absolutely the flagship vehicle that they were offering in 2012. This is the top they're offering. So you got the full fairing, all the wind deflection, everything up front. The cowlings are all stock. For a 12, one of the great ironies is this has a cassette deck in it. Also have an auxiliary, so the entertainment system, not bad. It's integrated. Is the old school wired-in helmet speakers if you want to do those. I've yet to find a good set, so I've just added a Bluetooth component so I can put my music from the iPhone through the speakers. You got front speakers, you have rear speakers as well, and between the two you get a reasonable amount of sound. But as far as creature comforts for the ride, you've got cruise control, you've got the nice big floorboards. I added the highway pegs to be able to keep the legs up. You do have a heel shifter on this side as well, and even the passenger has full floorboards, so pretty comfy ride in the back as well. I think the thing we both pick up on is this seat is unbelievable. It is so soft. You can do an 8-hour day, no problem. That's never one of the concerns. The weather or whatever else might get to you, but that's not going to be the problem. And the luggage on this bike is huge. This back trunk in particular fits 2 full face helmets very easily, and you still have great depth in both of the side pockets as well. So you can get about everything you really need for a good long ride. The windshield is stock as well. They do have an aftermarket I've been looking at that's about 4 inches wider. It could use just a little more deflection, maybe even a little more height, because you get buffeted a little bit where this was set up, but it's still a really pretty comfortable ride. You can get a long day on it, no problem.
So this, the 05 GoldWing, has many of the same features as the Yamaha. But the difference here is, number one, you get a full fairing on the front that it doesn't move. So when you turn, you only turn the front wheel. The fairing doesn't turn with you. You get wider mirrors and you get much better wind protection. I think it's a lot wider than the Yamaha is. Another thing you get here, this one has the backrest, of course, which I think is really important on riding, at least for me, long distances. But you get cruise control, radio, CB, air ride suspension with memory settings. There's a lot of creature comforts on here, a lot of storage. The thing I like about this is in the wintertime is the heat that this gives you. Has 2 radiators up here in the front, blows heat on your feet, on your legs. It keeps you nice and warm when you're riding in the wintertime. We also have highway pegs on here because the pedal box on the GoldWing is very tight. So you just have room for your foot, and you don't have a lot of room to move your feet. So when you're riding, a place to put your feet out here is really important to keep you from getting cramped up while you're riding. The thing about the GoldWing is tons and tons of storage. Your center trunk, and then also you have a left and right saddle bags, so you can carry lots and lots of gear with you. The 6-cylinder motor, of course, the 6-cylinder motor just makes it silky smooth to ride. So, all right. All right, so we've been on our ride. We've ridden both bikes. Why don't you start? Tell me what you like, what you don't like.
Well, something that it was ironic you brought this up in the middle of the ride at one of our stoplights. I'd heard this thought before that you get on a Honda, you get in a Yamaha. And I think as far as the broad feel, the perception, very much agree with that. You feel like you're down in this thing, you're in the machine. That one I feel like I'm perched on top of it.
You do sit in that machine. Almost lean back with your feet up. I want a backrest that leans back just a little bit, so it's just kind of like, you know, you're sitting in it definitely.
Very much
or
so.
This one you're sitting on it. So definitely a difference, and that was the first thing that I picked up on.
Another I picked up on initially, as soon as you fire them up, that 6-cylinder GoldWing engine, it's just a whirring sound. It's almost the Jetsons. It's very silky and smooth. This is a little more throaty, a little more responsive. I think you kind of feel the jerk of the accelerator you get into.
Well, that's more of a visceral motorcycle feel. You've got the motor rumbling. When you gear down, you can hear the exhaust popping. You don't get any of that on this.
True.
Just silky smooth throughout the whole thing. And so, you know, like I was saying, both of these motorcycles do the exact same thing. everything's the cruise control, the radio, the storage,
CB, all of it. Yeah.
everything. They do the exact same thing, but they do it in completely different ways.
Shockingly different. When we lined them up, I thought, again, we said in the beginning, this is Yamaha's attempt to copy the GoldWing, or at least be competitive in that strata. Yeah. And without question, it's a different experience altogether.
It is. It's completely different.
Yeah.
So, if you're gonna choose these, they both do the same thing. The features are almost exactly the same: electronic cruise control, radio, like I said, the storage, front and rear speakers. Nice place for the passenger to ride.
Sure.
This bike has unbelievably squishy seats on it. I want that seat on this bike. But anyway, you almost have to go ride each one of these to make up your mind which one you want.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. You couldn't do it on paper. You need to experience both of them.
It is an experience. On paper, they look like they're the same thing.
You'd think so.
But no.
Very different
Okay,
rides.
so would you trade yours for one of these?
Not a chance.
Not a chance.
I love this bike, and the longer I'm on it, the more I like it. I did test drive one of those when I was shopping, and for me, that again, kind of that perception piece of being up and perched and atop the bike, especially for the long, 3,000-mile rides out for a week. I really love being down in this thing and feeling connected to it. Yeah. And to your point, too, that visceral is a great word.
Yeah.
The rumbling, the sound, the feel, I like a little more of that in my
Right.
Just my personal preference.
And I'm the same way. I don't think I would trade this for that. So I think that you have to go ride this and see what is your style, what do you like. They're completely different. But anyway, they both look fantastic. And you would have to be insane to go buy a brand new one of either one of these.
I can't imagine why you would.
I mean, even at 100,000 miles, this thing is amazingly smooth,
It was
isn't
like
it?
a kitten. It was great.
I mean, the new ones of these are $35,000-$40,000, and to spend $4,000 on one, you'd have to be crazy to go buy a new one.
Well, same. I've been shopping the new version of this, and they're coming out the gate at 25 to 28,000, 6,500. That's an easy call for
and
me.
you get the same bike.
You really do.
You know, what kind of knocks do you have on this bike that are worn out on this?
There are very, very few things that I don't like about this bike. I mean, it'd probably take me a minute to come up with something.
Yeah.
It's just small, detail kind of stuff. You go, well, my preference would be this or that. But as far as what it does, the reliability, the functionality, man, it's fantastic.
Saying this bike is 15 years old, and there's not a scratch on it. I can't find a fault on it, and it doesn't rattle. It rides smooth at 100,000 miles. I might need some new radio speakers, but I mean, I'm niddly picking here, so.
Big time.
So anyway, my thanks to Chris for joining us on this video and let me ride his bike. And if you're looking for a used Japanese cruiser, take a look at one of these, but you got to go ride each one because you're going to have a completely different takeaway for each one. So anyway, thanks for joining us here on the Engineer Channel, and we'll see you next time.